And here we go with part 3 of my grind, Sunday grind. A little bit smaller race. I still keep messing around with my pre-flop bet sizing. I think it's been so random, nobody could really get much of a tell on me. I do have a couple, every once in a while I have a reason for what I'm doing, so maybe I have some tendencies. I really would be shocked if anybody was able to figure out my tendencies, unless they've analyzed my videos that they're watching and stuff like that. But I like continuation betting here, just because it's really easy for him to miss, and if he just has nothing, he's gonna fold. So, yeah, my pre-flop raise sizing has, a lot of people subscribe to saying you got to make it the same every time, but I just haven't completely agreed with that over. Here, I really like calling and just trying to hit something and then going forward with it. I feel like he's going to call any all in, and I think he'd be ahead. I'd be behind his range. I missed, so I feel like I'm pretty safe to get away. I'm pretty sure he's got the best hand here. Unless he checks his ace and I hit a jack, would be nice. Which he definitely could. I'd probably check an ace here. But, I mean, I don't really beat anything there. I really like calling there because I have a hand where I'm really going to know if I should continue with it pretty quickly. If I hit my king or queen or some sort of huge draw. So that makes it pretty easy, and it was pretty cheap for me to continue. So I could just cheaply see if I should continue or not. This is a little bit of an interesting spot. I feel like he could easily just not be giving me any credit. It's a spot where I could 4-bet him. But this guy hasn't done this to me before. It's not a huge buy-in tournament, so that just makes me want to give him credit. That's not a huge buy-in tournament. I haven't seen the guy a ton. I've probably only played with him in this tournament, making me think he's probably, and again, I'm basing this off of probably just my stats I have on him. That was a good hand to have. So, it's just, when you have so little history on a guy and you have no reason to think he's messing with you, I usually just go, he's probably not messing with me. If I start thinking everybody's always messing with me, it'll make me become a calling station, and it's no good for anybody. Except the people I'm playing against, I guess. And, that's why 3-betting is pretty powerful play, especially early on, because people who haven't played with you a lot are not going to be expecting you to be messing with them, so you can get away with it for a while. If you do too much, though, then you got to start thinking the good players are going to recognize it, and they might be 4-betting you light or stuff like that. So you just got to keep in mind what your perception is, what players you play against all the time, what players see you 3-bet a lot, stuff like that. It's hard to keep track of that stuff, but you can kind of figure it out over time. I mean, I know probably some of the older guys who have been on here a lot probably think I don't 3-bet light too much, and I never 4-bet light really. Although on lock it's hard to 4-bet light period, because you don't play in that many really deep stack tournaments, or you're not in that many really deep stack spots. And they probably know I would be capable of it, but they're probably not going to put me on it very often, or try to snap me off against it. Some of the players I've seen more recently, specifically a few players, I don't see any of many of my tables, I feel like could put me on, some pretty light, doing some pretty light stuff. So, but all the guys who, I don't see ever, I don't think any of them are ever going to be doing that kind of stuff. Coin flip. Still coin flip. Good card. Good card. And that's what these turbos turn into. They turn into flip mints, and you just gotta do your flips and try to give yourself as big an edge as possible. A lot of fold equity stuff. You're trying to pick up a lot of pots where everybody's folding, because it's a lot of just free money. But you can't do it too much and get snapped off by, an ace-jack when you're holding jack-7, I forgot what the other point I was making was. Sorry about that if I stopped mid-thought. I do that a lot, partly because something pops up that's more pressing for me to talk about, or just because I lose my train of thought. Oh man, I feel like I need to call this. Yeah, I mean, the odds just kind of tell me to call it. He has pretty much any two. I got open cards. I think it's the right call. That's one hey. That's one, I kind of want to look at the odds. I want to look at what the odds I got after calling. This guy limps occasionally, so I'm going to shove him. That's fold equity right there. Picked up extra money, and my expected value in this tournament has gone up. When I had the best hand there, so it's not like a huge victory, but I got him to fold 2,000 chips when 950 of it should have been his if we ran it out a million times or whatever. So I picked up 950 chips that I shouldn't have had based on the cards. That's a really convoluted way of saying some really simple stuff. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just forget it. If you do understand what I'm talking about, I'm sorry I made it so complicated and sound so stupid. This tournament's also really important to look at what stacks are behind you, and who the players are behind you and what they're capable of. This guy's definitely capable of 3-betting me, but I don't think he will all the time. I have a blocker with the ace, meaning it's less likely for someone to have an ace behind me, and it's just a solid hand to raise with. I can flop good hands, I can flop monsters, and I can easily get away from it from a 3-bet. So I can comfortably get away from it. Some hands, like if I had like 6s here or 7s here, or ace 9 or something, and there's the 3-bet. Pretty big 3-bet too. Wow. I guess it's not huge, but bigger than I would have expected. Does that mean he would fold to a 4-bet? Or does that mean he's pricing himself in? He had a really strong hand, so good fold. I almost talked myself into making a questionable play, but no harm in thinking about it if you make the right decision, I guess. But I forgot what I was talking about once again. I haven't had many hands go. I haven't had that many interesting spots so far in this video, so sorry about that. I feel like I've been able to analyze those situations a lot better recently, and my play has a lot more thought behind it more recently than it used to. So if I get, I don't want to. I want to just get in really easy positions where I make a lot of money, but it'd be fun to get in some interesting positions, and I can kind of analyze them a little bit more than I have in the past, I think, or at least maybe just differently. Ooh, I think I need to call this. I don't think, if he had a monster, I don't think he would go all in. That's why I want to call. The only hand I'm worried about is ace-king, and I still don't think he'd go all in with ace-king. A lot of pairs probably, but I think I should do this anyways, because ace-jack and ace-10 are probably in his range, and ace-king. I thought he might do it with ace-king just to try to get rid of pairs, in this guy's range. Like if he had 6s, it's hard for him to do anything if he just shoves. I really just think that's a cooler in a turbo tournament, 6-handed. The only thing that made it not a cooler was kind of how it played out, but even then, just folding ace queen is kind of tough to do. You know, he's re-raising a button raiser. He's been pretty dang active since he's been here. I don't think I can get away from that spot. I think it's, I mean, I can always play better, realize it more, but even if I did, I probably would end up coming to the same conclusion that, I probably would have come to more of a conclusion that, you know, it's the right call, because the shove is not aces or kings, and probably not queens, and probably not even jacks or tens, or maybe tens, but that leaves ace king, but he'd probably also do it with ace jack and ace queen. You know, he'd probably do it with ace 10 and maybe even ace 9 and king queen and a couple other thrown in hands in there. So it makes it so I'm ahead of what his average holdings is going to be by quite a bit. And when he has a hand like ace king, it's just unfortunate, you know. I don't see him. Yeah. So I guess that's me analyzing that hand. The other thing is about calling there is I do need to be a little bit worried about him having a monster, but you know, I guess that was minimal in the whole thing, and that'd kind of be more of a tiebreaker rather than anything. And I think I was pretty well ahead of that guy's range, so just really unfortunate. And again, those turbos are just come down to, can you get lucky in the big spots, and can you cooler the other people when you get coolered, or when you get coolered, can you suck out on somebody, and just give yourself the best chance in this kind of crapshoot. So I'm okay with it. Kind of frustrating. It's a pretty big tournament to win or to get a big cash in, so it's always fun to go deep in it. But it didn't turn out well for me this time. And now I'm not in any great spots really to make big cashes. I mean, I guess I'm doing well in a couple decently sized tournaments, but you know, I'm gonna keep going just because I haven't posted a video in so long, and if it gets kind of dull, I might stop it at some point, but we'll see. I just haven't posted anything in so long. I feel like posting something pretty long won't be that bad of an idea. This video's almost over and it's a good time to stop it. So I'm going to stop and I'll come back with, I think, part 4. So I'll see you guys in part 4.